Hello, my name is Sam Gio, and I'm currently a junior finance major at Miami University, and I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
My name is Bradley Donaldson, and I'm a finance major from Denver, Colorado. Virtual one-way interviews have become increasingly popular over the past few years. Today, we'll be talking about their importance and some tips on how to successfully complete these interviews. Since these types of interviews are still very new to many applicants, we wanted to give you a little background on them. During these interviews, you will receive a few questions that are pre-recorded by a recruiter. They pull these video questions from a collection so that each applicant has different questions. They give you time limits to answer the questions, think about a response, and then record your response.
So, how are they used? Virtual one-way interviews are used for first-round interviews primarily. They do this so they can weed out certain candidates that they do not want to further along to the in-person interviews. With so many different applications being submitted each day, with the new online world ever-changing and growing at a rapid rate, this is an extremely efficient way for companies to weed out who they do not want to move along with in the process, and overall an efficient and effective method. So, who creates these one-way interviews? One-way interviews are created by third-party websites, and companies will contract them to have them administer their one-way interviews. So, the three big dogs in the industry right now are VidRecruiter, SparkHire, and MyInterview. So companies will contract them as freelancers to conduct their interviews and basically send out the emails to their potential employees and have them log into their website and already see their preloaded questions on there, answer them, and submit them as the form of their one-way interview.
One of the best tips we can give you for these interviews is to be prepared. Always use the prep time they give you to ensure that you can give them the most complete answer possible. Furthermore, take advantage of the fact that they are online. Have some scratch paper available so that you can take notes and reference them while you're answering the questions. If a company gives you practice questions that aren't going to be submitted, take the time to work through these so that you're more comfortable with the platform and it gives you an idea of the questions that you will be facing. Lastly, take it slow. Recruiters won't give you plenty of time to fully answer the questions and give as much detail as possible. Take a few deep breaths and use the complete time they give you. One last tip is to treat these interviews like an in-person interview. Dress professionally and make sure your background is appropriate. According to the Harvard Business Review, 95% of recruiters take your background and lighting into consideration. Act engaged by using proper body language to convey your enthusiasm.
So, one-way interviews are still in their early stages, I would say, but there are still many pros and cons already out there. Some of the main pros are they're super easy to use for both employers and potential employees. They can be completed anywhere by a potential employee. They could do it on the bus if they really wanted to, in their house or in the office. Next, they're allowed multiple tries to answer each question. So unlike a real in-person interview where you get answered a question, you really only have one chance to respond, you usually have up to 3 tries to answer these questions, which allows you to get the perfect response. Some of the cons, though, is they're fully virtual with no one really listening in real time, which makes it extremely hard to showcase your skills and be personable. Unlike in a real-world face-to-face interview where you can be personable with the recruiter, you cannot do that here because you're talking to a computer and answering pre-recorded questions from a question bank. So, are one-way interviews here to stay? Yes. We believe that one-way interviews will become increasingly more popular due to how efficient they are for both parties. COVID-19 forced one-way interviews to become a popular choice, and they're going to stay, most likely. We believe that this is a great method for companies to employ mass amounts of people to their business super easily and super effectively. That's how I believe that they're here to stay for the long run. Stay to the end of our video to learn more about virtual one-way interviews. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and we hope that you can crush your next virtual one-way interview.